So you want to play Dungeons & Dragons. I'm sure you have a ton of questions and you're not sure where to start, so let's just jump right into it and go over the basics to get you started playing. What you need is kind of a multi-stage question and answer. First, it depends on if you are the dungeon master or if you're just a player. So let's start with the basics and the things you will need for both roles. First things first, the most important part of playing D&D is having people to play with. You need to find some people that are also interested in playing. This could be friends, family, or even people from your local game or card shop. Put out feelers, tell people you're wanting to start a campaign, and are looking for either a dungeon master, or players, or both. This is a group game. Without other people, you're not going to get very far. So now that you've got a small group of players and designated who is going to be the dungeon master, who's going to play, you need to move on to what you actually need to play. Just an FYI, most of the stuff that I want to go over here that you absolutely need, other than the friends you can get from the D&D starter set for about $20, I'll put a link to it on Amazon in the description. First, you might want to have the thing D&D revolves around, a dice set. You can pick up a nice set of dice online or at your local card shop. You'll really only need to have one set to be shared among everyone, but everyone having their own set can make things go a lot smoother. You'll want to have the basic set of 7 dice, a d20, d12, 2 d10s, because when you roll them together, they count as like a percentage die from 0 to 100, or 1 to 100, a d8, a d6, and a d4. They're used for different things, including your skill checks, your just general, if you hit the monster or not, stuff like that, to weapon damage. Dice is what makes the game go. You will definitely need them. Next, you're going to need either some character sheets printed out or some scrap paper, plus a pencil. You have to erase and write down stats and change things often, like your hit points, so you really don't want to use a pen, and you can never have too much scrap paper with D&D. It's great in case you don't have your character sheets or just for taking notes so you don't forget what happened between sessions. You'll want to get with your dungeon master and to go over when you actually make your character, which we'll also go over in a future video, which leads us to an optional item that you'll need for that. The player's handbook. I know what you're thinking. You can just go look all of the information up that you need for your character on a wiki or something like that, in which case my response would be yes, you could, but some of that could be homebrew, so it's really up to your dungeon master on how close to the book you're playing, if you're doing anything homebrew or if you're just playing straight by the book, because that could also cause problems. Then obviously some of you are probably thinking, well, I can just go get a PDF copy online for free. And again, yes, I would respond, yeah, you could, but that's illegal, and trust me, having the physical book makes things a lot easier when you're actually making a character and actually playing, rather than scrolling through a PDF document. The handbook has everything you'll need to know about your class, spells, race, even your equipment. This is the only book I would say that you really need, but the group needs one. Like, you don't necessarily have to have one each, but having your own makes things go smoother, just like dice. That about sums up the things that you really need to play. As a DM, the only major things other than that you would need is to have a good understanding of the rules, because you're kind of guiding the game. Then you need either a pre-written campaign, like the one that comes in the starter set, or a custom campaign that you make up your own, of your own. And with that comes kind of imagination. But you can always pick up stuff later that you don't really need to play, but like the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster's Manual makes things a lot easier if you're on the DMing side. The Monster Manual is good for druids too, for all the animals you can turn into, but you don't necessarily have to have them. You could even add in miniatures and battle maps later if you feel like you need to visualize everything, but again, it's not necessary to get a game started. Above all, to get started playing D&D, you just need to have some imagination. You have to be able to visualize yourself in another world, writing a story together with the DM through your actions. I hope I could at least point some of you in the right direction to start playing some Dungeons & Dragons. I actually just recently DM'd for the first time with players who have never played before, mostly family members of mine, and they all seem to enjoy it for the most part. We played the campaign that comes with the starter set, and it was pretty fun for a family game night. So thanks, guys and gals, for watching. I'm CJ with Nerdosity. Get out there and roll some 20s. Bye-bye.